Hello and welcome. In this video, I will explain ACI BUM Forwarding, showing how the ACI fabric floods BUM traffic. BUM traffic stands for broadcast like ARP request or DHCP discovery messages, unknown unicast, which is for layer 2 traffic only. It happens when the switch doesn't know how to forward a frame to a destination MAC address, and multicast, which can be layer 2 or layer 3 multicast traffic. Whenever I say layer 2 traffic, that means the source and the destination or the receivers are in the same subnet and the same layer 2 domain or bridge domain. I mean the same flooding domain, okay? BUM forwarding is different from unicast forwarding because it may have multiple destinations. In BUM forwarding, the packet has to be replicated several times to reach several locations. As you can see in this figure, endpoint 1 sends a BUM packet to leaf 1, and the packet is received by all endpoints attached to bridge domain 1 throughout the ACI fabric, namely endpoints 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8. We will see how the forwarding happens within the fabric in the upcoming slides. Just like traditional networking, flooding is the main and the default forwarding mechanism for BUM traffic in ACI. The only exception here is the L2 unknown unicast forwarding, which defaults to a hardware proxy. As I mentioned in the previous section, several bridge domain options are available for BUM forwarding behavior. These options are ARP flooding. As the name suggests, flood ARP requests within the bridge domain, because the bridge domain is the layer 2 flooding boundary in ACI. Also, we have unicast routing. This option is not only to enable the gateway and IP address learning under the bridge domain, as we mentioned before, but it also impacts the ARP traffic forwarding decision. We have the L2 unknown unicast, hardware proxy, or flood. By default, it is a hardware proxy, as I mentioned. I discussed the hardware proxy in the previous lecture, and in this lecture, we will see how the ACI flood the traffic. Also, we have L3 unknown multicast flooding, which has two options, flood or optimized flood. This traffic type means the multicast source and its receivers are in different subnets, and the IP multicast group is unknown in the leaf IGMP snooping table, so it's L3 unknown multicast. Also, we have multi-destination flooding. We have three options, flood in bridge domain, drop, or flood in encapsulation. Multi-destination traffic here means layer 2 multicast and broadcast traffic except the ARP traffic, okay? Because the layer 3 multicast is the previous option, and the L2 unknown unicast is also in a separate option, along with ARP flooding. Note that the L2 unknown unicast and ARP traffic can utilize the spine proxy or the hardware proxy as a forwarding optimization. Now let's talk about flooding in the ACI fabric. Starting with ARP forwarding, here I mean the ARP request messages as they are broadcast messages. When an ARP request frame comes into the leaf's downlink port, the leaf first checks the unicast routing option under the bridge domain in which the ARP frame comes from. If the unicast routing is disabled, I mean the option here is unchecked, the leaf floods the ARP request frame within the bridge domain to the local ports and to the remote leaf switches as we learned in the previous lecture. After that, the flooded ARP frame or the ARP packet reaches the egress leaf switch, and the egress leaf floods the ARP request frame to all ports in the bridge domain. So regardless of the ARP flooding option, if the unicast routing is disabled, the incoming ARP frames will be flooded in the bridge domain. On the other hand, if the unicast routing is enabled, the ingress leaf has to check if the ARP request message targets the ACI bridge domain gateway. Here I mean the leaf switch has to check if the target IP address in the ARP request message is equal to the bridge domain gateway IP address that's configured as an ACI subnet under the bridge domain. If it is equal, the ingress leaf intercepts the ARP request message and sends an ARP reply out from the ingress port, informing the ARP requester about the bridge domain gateway MAC address. If it is not equal, the ARP request message doesn't target the ACI bridge domain gateway, and the leaf has to check the ARP flooding option. If the ARP flooding is enabled, I mean the ARP flooding option is checked, the ingress leaf floods the ARP request frame within the bridge domain to the local ports and to the remote leaf switches, just like the previous case when the unicast routing option is disabled. After that, the ARP request message will reach its destination and the target endpoint will send the ARP reply to the ARP requester. However, if the ARP flooding is disabled, the leaf switch will check its endpoint table to see if it is already learned the target IP address. If yes, the ingress leaf forwards the ARP request frame to the remote egress leaf. Consequently, the egress leaf floods the ARP request frame to all ports in the bridge domain. Moreover, if the ingress leaf has learned the target IP address locally, it replies directly to the ARP request message, just like the way it happens with the ARP suppress feature in the VXLAN EVPN technology. If the ingress leaf hasn't learned the target IP address in its endpoint table, it sends the ARP request frame to the spine proxy. Then the spine needs to check the COOP database. If it has already learned the target IP address, it forwards the ARP request frame to the remote egress leaf, which floods the ARP request frame to all local ports in the bridge domain. But if the spine COOP hasn't learned the target IP address, it will drop the ARP request frame and send an ARP gleam message for the destination address to all leaf switches in the fabric. As I mentioned in a previous lecture, the goal of the ARP gleam message is to trigger a response from the destination IP in case it belongs to a silent host. Although the ARP request is considered a layer 2 message, ACI uses the ARP glean technique to trigger the destination IP learning but not to flood the ARP request throughout the fabric, because the ARP glean message is not the same as ARP request. So to summarize, if the unicast routing is disabled or the ARP flooding option is enabled, ACI floods ARP request messages within the bridge domain. And we saw how the flooding within the bridge domain happens in the previous section. If the unicast routing is enabled while the ARP flooding option is disabled, and the ingress leaf has learned the target IP, it sends the ARP request to the egress leaf. But if the ingress leaf hasn't learned the target IP, it sends the ARP frame to the spine proxy. And the spine forwards the ARP request to the egress leaf if it has learned the target IP in the COOP database. Otherwise, it drops the ARP request and sends an ARP glean message to all leaves in the fabric. I hope that's clear. Let's move to the multi-destination flooding. As I mentioned before, the multi-destination flooding option affects only the layer 2 multicast and the broadcast traffic, excluding the ARP request traffic that we covered in the previous slide. We have three alternatives: flood in bridge domain, drop, and flood in encapsulation. In the first option, flood in the bridge domain, if an endpoint sends a broadcast or layer 2 multicast traffic to the ACI fabric, it will be flooded within the same bridge domain. Here in this figure, a broadcast or layer 2 multicast packet is received from bridge domain 1 ingress port, and the ACI floods the packet to all bridge domain 1 ports throughout the fabric. Note that bridge domain 2 ports didn't receive any copy. This is the ACI default option for the broadcast and the layer 2 multicast traffic. The next choice is to drop the traffic. This option is used when you need to disable flooding in the bridge domain, and it will not affect the ARP forwarding that we discussed previously. The last choice is the flood in encapsulation. It can be configured from the bridge domain level, which is then applied to all bridge domain ports. Also, it can be enabled under the EPG, which takes precedence over the bridge domain configuration and affects only the EPG traffic. Here in our figure, endpoint 1 sends a broadcast or layer 2 multicast packet to the ACI fabric. Since the incoming packet has a VLAN 10 Encap and the option is to flood in encapsulation, ACI floods this packet to only ports where the Encap VLAN is 10, regardless of the EPG. Note that none of the bridge domain 2 ports received any copy. Also, endpoint 3 received a copy although it belongs to EPG-B, which is different than the sender EPG-A. I would say if you don't have a need to change, you should keep the default flood in BD option. The last thing to discuss in this lecture is the L3 unknown multicast flooding. This bridge domain option only affects the IP multicast traffic that has multicast groups unknown to the leaf IGMP snooping and needs to be routed by the multicast router. If you want to learn more in multicast, please refer to the multicast course. Here we have two alternatives, flood and optimized flood. In the flood option, if an endpoint sends an L3 unknown multicast traffic to the ACI fabric, it will be flooded within the same bridge domain, just like the example in the previous slide. So, as you can see in this figure, the packet is flooded to all bridge domain ports within the ACI fabric, of course including the mRouter port, where we have the IGMP querier. On the other hand, using the optimized flood option, the packet is flooded to only the mRouter ports within the bridge domain throughout the ACI fabric. As you can see in the figure here, only the query router has a copy, so it's an mRouter port, multicast router port here, okay? So, in summary, when using the flood option, all bridge domain ports will receive a copy of the L3 unknown multicast packets. However, when using optimized flooding, only the mRouter ports will receive a copy of those packets. Please note that ACI BUM traffic forwarding using Generation 1 leaf switches has some differences compared with higher leaf generations. I didn't consider Generation 1 leaves in this lecture. I hope this lecture was easy. Thank you for watching.